Alright, the Lakers got a much needed home game after the previous 3 shit shows, and once again, their offense was fine. Rui was running out, getting downhill, or threeing it, and he was the main reason for them taking control of the game in the second, because he single-handedly shifted the momentum early in the quarter. But when the Blazers ran it back in the third, D'Lo came through to join them in the fourth, and their two-man game just exploited mismatches on the switch for each other to eat. Once D'Lo gets on his patented heater, it's basically over, and it was just his turn to shift the momentum back in their favor to break the game open. But despite the two going off, it was actually Ant that led the night in scoring, and there were 2 reasons why I couldn't really feel it. The first was because he was scoring throughout, so it was more quiet compared to Rui and D'Lo getting theirs in bunches, and the second was because of how physical DeAndre was with him, so he had to either take a lot of tough jumpers or earn his 2 at the line. He finished 4 of 14 in that matchup, and even the plus-minuses reflected their nights, but it wasn't about what he did on that end, because most of his impact was felt on the other as the anchor. He was challenging everything at the rim, so that was either altering shots or deterring players from testing him, and when players did try to get downhill off a screen, he was sending shit back every time. Even when he got switched onto a small, he locked up, and a lot of what he did stemmed from his positioning, because he was always up on screens or ready to help. But that applied to the entire team, because this was probably one of the best positional games I've seen from him in a while, and it was rare to see any of them either not ready to help or overhelping. Their organization alone made it easier to take away a lot of the Blazers' driving or passing angles, and they actually manned up, so that made their first line secure. I don't think I've ever seen D'Lo that good at the point of attack, but more importantly, their rotations were always there to at least get a contest on closeouts, or even give multiple efforts, and they actually had a low man, so that second line was just as secure. It was obvious there was a level of focus and effort in the half court, and it was showing just as much in transition, because they always had multiple bodies back for once, so it's no coincidence they finished with 21 stocks on the night. But I'm still taking this defensive performance with a grain of salt, because this was still against a bottom feeder with a bottom 3 offense, and I'm calling it a fluke until they replicate it more consistently. Just watch the tape.
Ayton's underneath, stolen, turnover, give it to that man.